We'll just do a quick little Weevils report here. Keep everybody honest on what the actual practice is here. I'll get back over here. That's what we want. Of actually track and review. Now we can pick any stock we want, but we could generally you're gonna know a few. Sometimes you're not, and great if you have to make sure that you redo this in a timed event to make sure that your kid doesn't pick up bad habits. Let's say across the board. We'll just hit up Marshmallow's treasure chest here. Anything in the foundation sites for the sector. I'm sure Berkshire and Hathaway or whatever you may deal with while trying to separate the limit out of your first encounter with 42 Idness, the anti-meme 33 math equation of the forbidden S&P order of the periodic table. So, kid, in school for the teachers union and anything else you got going on here, we'll take a look at Comcast, considering Johnson & Johnson's numbers. So, again, we are 36, roughly, in the window area, paying attention to what's going on and what's up. Overall, you have the first market review, which is going to be its number. You got to generally know its name, which is CMCSA, Comcast. Comcast, because as a reporter, somebody to do, well, where did I last park my alien spacecraft as far as motion and position? Those immovable balls from the S&P, the projectile momentum equation and point P prime, or these things colliding, dropping out of the sky on you for 3 the square root of 2, right? Given the meters per second it's traveling, or 9.8 meters per second. If you go changing gravity around there to get too close to it, you get sucked in, buddy. Alright, so anyways, again, we're already wasting time. Some Comcast numbers. 35.76, remember hitting the S&P, the T numbers across the board, that's what that is. So let's get me out of here a little bit and just get back up here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have a max average. I like to start with this one, 1982-ish, in that neighborhood, 1982, great selling point for something long like Comcast. You'd want something a little bit longer, so, I was born in 87, that makes for 34 ish in that neighborhood. Just quick dimensional analyzing on the max. She's going to be 35.50, and if you want overall that percentage of up 13,466, so plus 13466 ish. I'm going to mind the zeros. If you want to program this stuff later, it may be relative to the type of equations that you want this gambit and the DCG to work out while explaining why you chose to go this route, or if in those margins she's moving around in such a way where you could do that. So we'll move over to the 5-year before we start just its company's review, and then we'll hit the internet on some of this too. Let's see if we can get any special gemstones. So she's negative 1.07 2.91, and this could be the difference, the 5 to the max, given what you're seeing inside of here of the max, given what that is. And you might need to understand that if you have to retract that or figure out how that is, or check science against the XYZT, right? It may be working inside that field. Somebody may be explaining that variable to you on Comcast or something of that nature, dealing with why they might be a stabler mountain than others, or how their mechanism is going to work given certain time sets and systems of resetting that macro and micro on here, of how you're programming that differential. Okay, so now we go over to the year. 24, negative 24.66. And generally, you could say, well, if I was just looking at vector positions from red and red, green, green, red and green here, or the max or K, the 5-day moving average, or 5-month, whatever this may be, over these indexes, 5-day moving average, 10-day moving average, 20-day moving averages, I do believe. Yeah, a little bit there. Okay, so those might be things that, correlating to certain indexes that are not useful and interesting now, may become useful and interesting in combinations of stem testing the logic of this daisy pattern, given the Rubik's Cube's panel surface and individual frame rates, Nuke and Mars. that's going to be -4. Okay, there's that. And we just run that system down through. And again, not necessarily that that's necessary for a Comcast review as far as what they may be interpreting it on the market, but how, again, when other science and fields come into this situation, these are exponential idle ideas of how to describe, the theory of stupidity, if you like, or any other Bell's inequality, Minkowski in space, programming limits for ZBrush, City Zenith. Okay, some of those ideas work real great in a shorthand order to explain something like that. And again, Johnson & Johnson was a little bit better, but I'm diverging here. I'm getting a little off task for what my program would be if I were if and nor. Again, the forbidden S&P order, there is a lot of an NP checking and looking up against its signal up or down. E, negative E, 0, positive E is a negative E if that system comes through there. It's going to have a lot of photonic systems, polarizing optics, and other kind of models against what the overall sector is. Individually, this E, energy of value, is all energy inverted down to a general field theory and a special equation that describes the difference between the zero field of semi-imperial mass projection, or a projectile momentum equation that has variances in real life that actually pose to a trajectory that still can work, given the basketball scores or bit rates or anything that covers what would be a blockchain, a security and a bond, for how the combinations deals with that thing piping through the ether of Kong's garden, right? Graveyard of the Ethereum fields there. Nuclear isotope letting off poison gas. Schrodinger's equation in here for IH, the shortest distance. X, Y, and Z, name, number, mass is going to give me a difference again for chemical, electrical, DC motors, inverting a radial into a momentum or a kinetics for describing a certain time system of its decay, of a brownie factory, a marshmallow factory, mallow cup factory, or whatever may be on the pipes today. Yes?